Okay, how are we, everyone? Very first episode of the PrimalSomething Podcast. Basically, what we're looking to do this year is set up our very own podcast. It's something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I'll be setting up and running the podcast with a couple of my friends who are going to be co-hosts on the show. There's going to be myself, Glen, there's going to be Edd Dutton, who is a student and a business owner in Newcastle, and Stephen France, mixed martial arts promoter, businessman. He owns businesses in the northeast. He owns businesses in Ibiza. Runs the mixed martial arts promotions. So it's going to be really good for getting discussions from all of these different people. Each of us are going to be bringing different people on the show, so all we're going to try and do is drive engagement, drive conversation, and basically, especially for me, is just learn. I have very little time normally to sort of sit with people and sort of discuss subjects outside of website design, website development. My industry is sort of based on all of those things, so just discussing with people on anything really. MMA, fitness, nutrition, health, politics, life, space, anything really. So over the next few weeks we're just looking to get people on the show. It's going to be an ongoing podcast. Something for me really is, like I said, to learn, and I guess for you guys also to learn. We're looking to have any type of person on the podcast. So if you think you could create some good discussion, or want to come and chat to us about something, whether it's in the northeast, whether it's in another country, we'll be really, really happy to speak with you. Either pop into the studio, or we can do Skype feeds or anything. We've got all the hardware set up. It's taken us a few months to get everything sorted. We now know how to use all the gear that we've bought. We're looking into all the different software that's available to sort of get our content out there. So YouTube, Ustream, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that type of stuff. So we're looking forward to getting started. We've already recorded our first episode. So what I want to do is go straight into that. Episode 1 of the PrimalSomething Podcast. It was me, myself, Ed. We went into all sorts of different discussions. We introduced ourselves at the start of the podcast. So yeah, here goes, episode 1. We look forward to hearing your comments. We look forward to you guys listening in and basically going from there really. So here we go, podcast 1 between myself and Ed, and hope to get some comments and some discussion going on the website. Right, Ed, first episode. We're live. We've got it on. It's recording.
No way.
Headphones on. He's too distracted by his phone.
I was just.
First episode of the podcast that we don't even have a name for yet. Just to whose phone's going off?
Sorry, guys.
Just to introduce myself. My name is Glen Wheeler. I run a small digital agency in Newcastle upon Tyne. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I've worked in web development for about 8 years now professionally. I've decided to open the podcast just because really I want to learn things. I like speaking to interesting people. I'm a big listener of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
Inspiration. Big inspiration.
Look at his statistics and stuff he has on his videos and in his audio and all that type of stuff. So yeah, basically, when I'm listening to podcasts, I always have lots of questions for the people who are on the show. So this is why I wanted to turn to my own podcast and sort of start and speak to really interesting people and sort of just getting knowledge, because I often sit and have conversations with people and it's never ever recorded. It's something I've always said I wanted to do. So it's the reason I wanted to sort of start the podcast. Like I said, we haven't even got a name for it yet. So me and Ed are sort of, I'll let Ed introduce himself, but we're currently looking for a name for the podcast. You might have some suggestions. We've been doing a lot of notes and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're looking for names, and I'll let Ed introduce himself, who's going to be on the podcast quite often with me, as well as another guy who will be on another show. But I'll let him introduce himself now. Ed?
Cool. So, hi guys, I'm Ed. Currently a student and sharing an office with Glen. So I run my own brand consultancy, which is called Giving Origin. I'll give it a bit of a plug. So we're a consultancy that focuses on brand strategy, pulling together emotion and psychology into brand, turning that into a more visual sort of identity. So me and Glen work together quite a lot with Primitive Sense, working collaboration on different projects and stuff. So yeah, short intro for me.
So I mean, what we're trying to do now with the podcast is obviously it's the first show. We've been messing around with so much hardware. It's been ridiculous. We've been researching so much stuff. Really amateurs at this type of thing. So we just sort of wanted to run with this first podcast just to give the hardware test. We've spent quite a lot of money on the hardware and potentially the software coming up. Me and Ed have been working on some different software. We've run with some different software that we've tested out, but
I do have to put a bit of a hand for Glen because he's invested all his time and money into this. So
no, I think it's going to be worth it in the end.
It's going to be worth it.
I think from what I know, there's not that many podcasts in and around Newcastle at the moment, and that's the reason why I wanted to start this one. I don't know if you've heard of any or not.
No, I don't think so. Other than the ones that you've talked about before.
Yeah, I mean, I think because obviously I work in the creative industry in Newcastle, the only ones I've heard of is they're not essentially podcasts, but the ones like that Paul Lancaster does and stuff like that.
They're like the odd. Sometimes it's like the odd Facebook Live thing, or people. Like I know the Chronicle are doing a lot of sort of live stuff and posting that out. When there's like not events, but I want to say like natural disasters, like when the Quayside flooded and stuff. They had live stuff on there.
I think the only real thing that we have in the north at the moment, it's not a podcast, but it's that new the Tyne and Weir channel thing. Have you seen it on the TV? I can't remember what it's called.
Who watches TV anymore?
No. I'm saying that's the only real thing where you get sort of. I literally don't know any other podcasts in the northeast.
I mean, there's obviously Metro Radio. Is it Metro Radio?
What, the radio station?
the one that's on the big roundabout.
Yeah, well, that's just radio, isn't it?
Yeah, but similar format.
It is a similar format, but they don't get to speak to any interesting people, really. Obviously, they have people on the show who's from sports and stuff, but they don't.
They have no real people.
No, and they don't sit down for a good 30 minutes to speak to them. It's normally quick in, quick out, really. It's normally a 5-minute chat, but
talking about the next song or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what we want to do is get all sorts of different people in. Obviously, there's not just going to be me and Ed speaking on the podcast. We're going to invite loads of people in. We've also got another guy who's going to come in maybe at the end of this week to talk. Stephen France. He currently runs a lot of small businesses in and around the northeast, in Sunderland, Newcastle. He also has businesses in Ibiza, so I'm sure you're going to get to know a lot about him.
Ibiza.
He's quite an interesting guy. So, yeah, hopefully by the end of the week we'll have him on the show.
He's a good hunk of meat, Stephen.
He is a very intelligent guy as well, though. He's going to go...
Scary. I've only met him like
we
twice.
better prepared because he's going to go deep on politics and everything else that he knows about. So it's going to be good to have him on the show. But I think we also want to hear from people in terms of what content they want on the podcast. Do you not think?
Yeah. Even if people are really passionate about stuff, and then I'm speaking for you, Glen, here. But if people are passionate and they really want to tell their story about something, or
exactly,
for the local region, I think that would be quite good. I think there's a lot of unspoken stories and unsort of heard heroes.
Yeah, definitely.
That this is kind of probably an opportunity for them to come and.
The best way to get that across as well, I think, is by doing the podcast, having a time to sit down.
Because this won't be edited, other than the beginning and the end probably. But the in-betweeny stuff, we can swear.
Exactly. This is not. It's just a podcast that we're just going to fully record. The only things we are going to pre-record and stuff is basically the sponsors that we get. We've already got a few sponsors lined up for the podcast. So going forward, we will be looking for more sponsors, more people to come on to basically chat and record the conversations. Going back to before, we're still looking for a name for this, so we haven't even got a website or anything set up. We've been looking in how we can get the podcasts up live onto iTunes and things like that. So we think we've figured that one out. The rest of the stuff, we just need to sort of think about the name, the brand of the podcast. We've had a few ideas, but
hell, we could throw it out as a competition.
right, we could. We could. It's something that we could do.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're going to be recording hopefully a couple of podcasts in the next few weeks, and I'd like to have something set in stone by then.
Yeah, it needs to be pretty snappy.
I guess myself, you, and Stephen, we've been passing notes around about it, but
yeah, I'm sure.
Where we go from there, we just need to get something in place and get the website up, and then we can get it out to you guys. Obviously, we're sat recording this one. We have absolutely no plans of how we're going to get this out online yet.
I was just thinking about you're saying about a name, and I was thinking, actually, does this even need a name?
True.
Like, the whole sort of
it just needs
thought about this podcast is that actually it's this not unheard of. What's the word I'm trying to think of? It's like, it's completely spontaneous. It's completely like from the heart. It's not. I kind of feel like if we attach a name,
I think it's the thing is with the podcast. I mean, personally, I've spoken with Stephen for I don't know how long, because I had my first microphone about a year ago with this mixer. Got this mixer in the office. Literally, we bought it for quite an expensive price, and it just sat on my desk for about a year. And we've literally only just figured how to use it. We actually figured out that there was parts missing to it. Got in touch with some of my friends on Twitter, found a little bit of information out about it, and now we're pretty clued up on it. I think.
I'd like to think so.
Other than a few little problems, we're still sort of, we can hear background noise sometimes, and
if it gets hot, you will hear a fan. There will be a fan going on in the background.
We'll have to put the fan. The office gets quite hot where we are. So we have to run a fan now and again, or even open the window. And we're based right in the city centre, so it's quite noisy sometimes. But we're trying to sort of get it as smooth as we possibly can. So yeah, it's going well.
Actually, you're saying being city centre. That's an even greater opportunity for people to calm down.
Definitely, we seriously mean anyone. I mean, I've put out on Twitter last week for people just. Honestly, I'd like people to just walk in and come and have a coffee and all that type of stuff. I speak to my friends and stuff about time, and I think it's one thing that I really struggle with in terms of going out there and networking at the moment. We've been so busy with our projects and clients. We've struggled to network over the last few months. So to be able to invite people in here and basically make our networking the actual podcast, for me is something that I really want to do. I just want to learn. I find stuff so interesting. I find myself going home a lot, listening and watching a lot of documentaries and podcasts, driving the car. I've really been, I mean, Joe Rogan Experience, I've listened to that for years. And it just, the guys he gets on the show, I mean, I hope to get people on eventually is some of the guys that he's got on there, like these astronomers. You got Brian Cox and all those type. I'd like
huge
to be
range of people,
and we work with some of those people. Like we've got links in with Durham University and stuff like that. I'd like to get professors of science and all sorts of stuff into coming in and just having a chat, even if it's just 30 minutes, because these podcasts for me, they're going
to go on as long as the conversation sort of holds its strength.
That doesn't mean. I mean, I've listened to weekly podcasts that are just 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter how long they're going to be. Just come in for a chat, network. Basically, we'll push yourself out there as well. We can do that. We can when we talk to you, we'd like people to get engaged with the discussion and stuff like that and comments. So for me, it's just the whole learning thing. That's what I want from the podcast. I don't feel like I get enough time to sit and just speak to people.
Yeah. For me, it's kind
of other than the team.
It's kind of creating those relationships with people who you might not necessarily have met. I said that Stephen was going to be coming in. I've only met him like 2 or 3 times, but I can already tell that I'm going to learn so much from him.
I've had 5 years of him.
Jealous. I don't know if I'm jealous or scared.
No, he's full of knowledge and that's cool. That's the people we're looking for. But Stephen's knowledgeable in his areas. I mean, what we've done over the last 5 years, me and Stephen, is basically I've taught him about things. He's taught me about things. Obviously, I spent a year with him, Dale, and Colin, and all those guys that made for the Cage, the Fight Academy, and they took me through one of the most technical 8 to 10 months I've ever done. I just like learning, and what Stephen has done for me, I sort of try to return that back in terms of how computers work. Stephen was never sort of tech savvy ever. Like, seriously, but now he's clued up. He was talking to me about WhatsApp and security last week. You would have never heard that conversation from him.
All the young kids will be laughing right now.
No, exactly. It's honestly, it's. I think it's all about learning. Kids, that's the thing these days. Kids know more than we do about tech.
You say that I'm a kid, really.
Well, you are. Well, if that's what you want to class yourself as, that's fine. But that's what it is, isn't it? You've got people's kids at home know more than the parents about tech.
That's the thing. You can have all these kids who know everything about everything that's going on, and because of social media and because of podcasts and because of school, college, university. But then none of that even has a scraping on wisdom. And like just learning life's lessons of fucking it up.
I find chilled kids know so much shit. Honestly, we were sat in Taste of Persia last couple of weeks ago, just before we went to the arena.
Yeah,
and there was this kid with his parents sat just opposite like table, but I could hear what he was saying and stuff. And I would say he was about 13, maybe 14-year-old. He was talking to his parents about Hyperloop in Dubai.
Oh my God.
I said to my girlfriend, I was like, holy shit, I was like listening to his conversation, and it was just like, Jesus. Like,
it's weird. Like I go to
if I went
my girlfriend's dad's house. He's got two other sons. I can't remember how old they are. Like, I think the youngest is around 10. And I feel like I can have a full adult conversation with him, and it's scary. And like I often feel myself like dumbing myself down to speak to him, and then he'd be like, "Why are you dumbing yourself down?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, you can even pick up on that." It's like when I was 10, I was like still trying to wipe my own ass.
That's what I felt when I was listening to that guy. When I thought back when I was that age, and I was just kicking a football around.
Yeah.
I wasn't really learning about that stuff. Maybe it was just me, obviously, not having any interest in that. But I don't know if it's because
it's got to be because of social media and stuff.
I think it is. We're so well connected.
I got my first Facebook account when I say first because everyone's had more than one. I got my first one when
You've also left Facebook and come back again several times.
So I think I got my first one when I was like 14 or 15.
Jeez, I don't even know how long I've been on Facebook.
At the end of school, and I remember being like, "Oh my God, this is fucking awesome!" And signing up, and my brother and sister were on it, my mum was on it, and I was like, "I have friends," and I was like, "Oh wait, they're my family." And the number of immature arguments that went on back in those days on Facebook, and you like look back on those, and you're like, "Oh my God, why would I even dare try and have like this major rage online when?"
But still, it happens from. I'd love to go back and see, because I can't even remember. I've been on Facebook so long, maybe 8 years, maybe 9 years. It doesn't even feel like Facebook has been around that long.
It's insane.
And I can't even think, going back there, what the first version was like. I'd love to be able to see what the first version was like.
Facebook.
It was just literally a status update, really, wasn't it? I guess it acted a little bit like Twitter, but with more characters.
Yeah,
from what I can
remember. So what did it have? Has it always had likes?
I think so, but can you remember?
It never had likes for comments. It only had likes for posts, and I'm pretty sure.
I remember the poke button that disappeared though.
Good old poke.
Yeah, it's not there now.
That was like the first Tinder.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, she didn't poke me back.
Yeah. I don't know when that disappeared. And I don't know why they made the decision.
Bring poke back.
Yeah. You know, I think it. I'm gonna have a quick look.
So yeah, we're hoping if this sort of kicks off, then we can invest in this a bit more. So we'll be introducing cameras and what we have on our screen and stuff.
Yeah, I hope we've been looking at a piece of software called Wirecast, which I think they might possibly use on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. I think it only looks like that option. Sorry, I was just sort of white and black mark on myself by accident there. Yeah, I don't know if... I think that might be the software they use.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to sort of introduce video.
So we want to have like
podcast.
picture in picture, so you can see what we're up to while we're having this like discussion. But then if we're talking about something online, so it could be a news article, we can actually ping that up on the screen for you guys to see too.
Yeah, because I think often it is going to be the case where we've got people in and they're trying to explain something, and it might be better to do that via showing videos or pictures.
Yeah.
And it would be good for our listeners to be able to look up at be able to see the screen and what we're actually talking about, rather than trying to explain it, because it's difficult sometimes when you're in conversation to try and explain that. So hopefully we did try the video out, but just within on the Macs, we tried it with just the camera and a connected phone, a 4K phone.
Yeah.
It did seem to work all right, but it's not an ideal setup because I guess we can sync in all the audio. Obviously, we need to look at, even after this, we're recording this now, and we haven't really messed around with any recording software. I mean, I've got a little bit of background myself in terms of editing audio and video, but nothing major, like substantial cutting things. But like we said, we're not going to really edit that much. It's just going to be one chunk audio file. But once we start getting the video, we obviously want to do YouTube. We want to go live on YouTube and all that type of stuff, and be able to record the video as well, and then upload that to the website whenever that's going to be. Hopefully quite soon, as soon as we sort a name out.
If you have any name ideas from what we've been talking about, like the whole idea of the podcast and stuff, then it'd be really cool if you could like comment. I'm assuming this is going somewhere where people can comment.
We haven't got a clue where it's going yet, so
it's literally that fresh, guys.
Yes, I think we should plug in something like Discus, like the commenting system Discus.
Okay.
Do you run that on your site or not?
Yeah.
Just doing something like that.
Yeah.
Put that in so they can comment that way.
What do you mean?
Do you think
on each podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And live though as well.
Does Discus work live?
I think so.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, we could embed it into we could embed the video into a page live.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll
like
do that.
YouTube page live.
Sure.
So yeah, that's another idea that we've got. I was still having a look see if Poke is actually still available on Facebook, but I don't think it is.
What else came out on Facebook? Like the first pages were never really around. Oh no, they were
Business pages. I don't know.
I remember the system where it was like you have to like this page to see all the content. Do you remember that whole thing?
Really? What? So
it was like this like bait. So
yeah, it's like the clickbait shit. That
yeah. Oh my god, it's like, oh, see this man cut off another man's head. It's like this page to see it. And like for a start, who even likes that shit? Second, what type of dickhead puts that system on just to get likes? Like, what value is that bringing anyone?
It's not bringing anyone value. It's bringing themselves value. That's all. That's why they put it on there. It's
just annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's a good marketing thing. People, especially
genius.
these days, people look at all the stuff. I don't even want to go into the fake news stuff now. I mean, we set this one up to it's 11:15 at night.
Oh shit.
We could get into fake news, but we'll do that when Stephen's in next week or at the end of the week.
I'll bring my undies.
What?
I'll bring some spare undies.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking up on the internet here. There's nothing about. I wanted to have a look at like the whole timeline of Facebook and how it's moved from stage to stage.
I'm sure someone else who's listening will know where this is.
Yeah, I'd just like to. I'd just like to see how it's progressed. It's just interesting to me to see. I'm just doing another Google search about. Here we go. Let me have a look at this.
What about Twitter? I remember getting Twitter in 2013, and for about a whole year, I was like so confused about what the idea of Twitter was. A lot of my friends had already been. I came
to it quite late as well, though. I think there was a lot of people on there before I was. I didn't really get.
Yeah. Loads of my friends were already on it, and that's what sort of made me go on. And so it was like 2013, and it took me about a year to realize actually what it was about. But as soon as I realized, I feel really ashamed for this, but as soon as I realized what it was about, I immediately tweeted everything like literally everything I saw, everything I talked about, anything I thought was exciting.
That's what happens now.
But the only reason I did it is because I was having a Twitter race with my friend to try and reach 10,000 tweets first.
How many have you got now?
Oh, I don't know. At Edd Dutton, by the way, if anyone wants to have a look. It's that's with 3 Ds. EDDDUTTON.
Why did you? Why did you use 3? Oh, you obviously because it's Edd and then Dutton.
Yeah. Well, cheers, Glen.
I don't even know how many.
Let's have a quick look.
I have.
So
I find
Glen, your Twitter is just at Glen Wheeler, isn't it?
Just at Glen Wheeler, 1N, yeah. GLENWHWLER. The thing I find about the good thing about Twitter is like this podcast that we set up. Obviously we both didn't have a clue how to use the audio stuff, especially this mixer, and being able to ask those type of questions, and being able to find people who know about audio or even like web development, any issues that I normally have with like building websites, come across a programming error or something like that. Honestly, you put it into Twitter and someone will reply with an answer straight away. That's the really good thing about Twitter.
No way. I think Twitter's actually removed the feature.
What?
I can't find how many tweets I've done anywhere.
Oh. Shall I be honest? It could be your shitty phone.
That is true. So I recently took the brave decision to move to a Windows phone.
Big
and
mistake
it's
that was.
Possibly one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in my life. I'm sure there's bigger ones. I love the whole Windows phone ethos and the connectivity, but it just isn't there yet. Still, I feel really depressed that I'm saying this. The whole continuum thing is good. Being able to plug in a screen and keyboard into your phone and using it as a computer is good.
Can I ask when did you actually use that feature? When do you actually use it? I've seen you use it once.
Once.
Just to say, oh, that looks good.
Yeah, I only used it once to see if it actually worked or if it was just...
And it did work well.
Yeah,
but
I
can't think of situations really where the hell I would use it, because...
No, you just take your laptop.
I know, exactly. And that one that you've got now is perfect size and weight.
It's absolutely fine. But just the lack of apps and the number of times I've complained to Microsoft. It's explaining the lack... They haven't even got some basic apps on there, like Snapchat. They haven't even got Snapchat.
You can't.
The LinkedIn app is old. Everything is clunky. Twitter has a black background for some reason.
Just, so weird that it's obviously a popular phone. I guess a lot of people have it, but compared to
if you look at the market share, it's something tiny, like 4% or something. It's like the same as BlackBerry, so that sort of says something.
Mm-hmm.
But what's even worse is that Microsoft Office and all of the Office, like not Windows apps, the Microsoft apps are actually better on iPhone and Android than they are on their own devices. And it's like, what the fuck am I even investing in?
Yeah.
So I've got a nice 2-year contract on this.
When does it run out?
Oh, I don't know.
You've not had it long, have you?
No.
6 months, maybe?
Yeah, 4 months, I think.
Shit, you've got a long way to go.
So
we're gonna have the iPhone 10 maybe by then.
Yeah, I might just have to bite the bullet and buy another phone.
Can you not try and sell it and then I don't know who's gonna buy it? Like sell it and then.
No one wants to try a Windows phone.
Yeah, who wants a Windows phone? We could put it up for competition or something. Just give it away and just move on. But
we'll do a GoFundMe because I'm in a real predicament.
I know, yeah. The real the problem is with that, I think, is even from a web developer point of view, is we look at it as from like a browser point of view. Is it really worth supporting that browser if it's got such little users on there? I mean, upgrade. And I think that's the same situation with the phone. The numbers for iPhone and
it's
like Ollie's phone, for example, his new one.
I have no doubt.
Pixel.
In fact, I've seen conversations between developers where, or they always bring in the whole market share situation. So there's an accountancy software called Xero.
We've just moved to that as well. Our company just moved to that great software.
Yeah. And I was looking through the forums to see if there was anything about a Windows app coming.
You don't have Xero on the Windows?
Yeah, so that's another one that we don't have. And
what about Receipt Bank? Is that on there?
No, probably not.
Jesus.
So
phone is fucking useless.
so I was reading through this forum, and someone asked the question, are you ever thinking about doing a Windows Phone app? And I was reading through the different people, like loads of people saying, oh, we really need this. We use Windows devices for all our work colleagues, blah, blah, blah. And it really works well with Windows PCs and the whole connectivity and OneDrive and stuff like that. So is there any chance we could get a Zero app? And they were like, if you look at the market share, and divide our developers by that market share. I don't know how many developers they have. It could be 50, could be 18. I don't know. But if you divide the market share, actually you could probably work out. You divide the market share, you'd have half a developer. Oh no, it would be half a day of a developer in a month. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense.
No, yeah.
Okay. Half a day of developers' time in a month spent on Windows apps.
Oh my god.
That's how small the market share for Windows Phone is.
So what was the decision? I know obviously...
For me...
Why did you... Because you had iPhone previously.
Yeah, and then I moved to Android. So.
What was that phone you had, that one? Why did you...
The Sony Xperia Z3 Compact. And the main reason I went to that phone from iPhone... No, I sold that. One. So the main reason I moved to Android and I moved to that phone is because I like the size of it. So I moved from the iPhone 4S to the Z3 Compact, and it was exactly the same. Well, I say exactly the same size. It was pretty much the same size, but I wanted to try Android because it had been a long time since I'd been on it, and I made the decision to move to Windows. A long time ago, I was on the Windows platform, and I decided to just give it one last shot. And this is my last shot. I'm sorry, guys at Microsoft.
Where did you hear about the Windows Phone? Was it an advert or something?
I think I had looked around a few stores.
Did you test it out first?
Yeah, I'd had a play around. I love the interface. I love everything about it. It's so smart. The screen, the resolution, the colors. It's so vibrant.
I think that's the case across a lot of things. The problem is
the gear in it is fantastic. In fact, I'd say the camera is on par with the Google Pixel. This is almost a 2-year-old phone, and it's on par, I'd say, with the Google Pixel camera. The camera is fantastic. It's better than most DSLRs, believe it or not. In terms of post processing.
I honestly can't. I've got a friend on Facebook. What's his name? Can't remember. But anyway, he takes tons of photos with his iPhone 7. He walks dogs and all that. He's always out all day and he's taking amazing photographs.
It's insane.
And honestly, that camera on that iPhone 7, I've not bought the iPhone 7 yet. I'm on the iPhone 6S Plus, and that camera is insane. I took that to the Lake District. Yeah. And my girlfriend, I got a huge canvas printed from the photo was taken from the phone, and it was printed out on like I think it was about 1.5 meters wide by 1 meter high canvas. And honestly, it looks like it's been taken on the Canon, like a Canon camera, DSLR camera. Jesus. You just can't believe where the technology from mobile has come from. Like when I think back at school, and that's another thing that's coming out, isn't it? It's the new Nokia 3210 making, or 3310's making a new release. But I remember going back to school, the 3210. I can't even remember. It might have been like an Alcatel or some shit like that had my first camera on it. But I remember having the Philips C12 with Old MacDonald at the Farm tune ringtone on it, and you could only store something like 30 contacts.
Oh my god,
and
that's crazy.
I was what, 16, 17 then? I mean, we're 15 years on, and we're 15 years on in mobile technology. Yeah. And look where we are.
It's scary.
Let's go another 15 years.
Wasn't there a phone that actually had not a 3D camera on it, but it had like two... Actually, yeah, it could have been a 3D camera on a phone.
Well, the iPhone 7's got 2 cameras on it now.
Yeah, and I was
like 2 rear cameras.
What the hell?
Well, what do you think?
No wonder these phones are coming to like almost thousands of pounds now.
What do you think's going to happen with virtual reality?
a lot of good things. I do think that's like the sort of next stage in technology.
I think it's something we should have a discussion on in one of the next podcasts. It's something that I really want to learn about. Obviously, Ollie, your brother, has the what's it called again?
The
HTC Vive.
Yeah.
And shit, the first time I tried that was just ridiculous. I mean, if you have a look on my Instagram, if you go to instagram.com/Glen Whelan, just scroll through till about, I don't know, 3 months ago, and I had my first go on the HTC Vive on the bow and arrow game, which is, are you still a champion on that?
Of course I'm the champion.
You're still leading the way. Yeah. I need to beat that record. When Ollie gets his new house, we need to go.
Of course, yeah.
Do play that. But in that zombie game as well, how ridiculously real it is.
So for anyone who doesn't know, the HTC Vive is a VR headset, and that's
virtual reality.
Virtual reality. So it's a headset that you plug over your eyes. It straps around your head, and it's two screens that show the same information into both of your eyes. So it within the headset also contains like all sorts of technology, like gyros and stuff. So wherever you move your head, those screens will portray where you're looking.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be in a completely different dimension, experiencing something that you've never seen before. You could be in a building that you've never stood in before. You could fly across cities, and all sorts. The opportunities for VR is just endless. But the VR...
I really, really do think it is literally endless. Well, I mean, what can it not do with... It's definitely going to be the next big thing in the next 10 years.
100%. Which is why all these big companies like Sony and you got obviously
Microsoft,
Oculus. And,
what's the Microsoft one? HoloLens. Is it HoloLens?
HoloLens is a little bit different. That uses AR, not VR.
Right.
So AR is augmented reality.
Yeah.
So that will use the environment around you and create things in that environment. So if you have a completely empty table and you want to see, I don't know, say you created a laptop and you want to see how that would work in real life on that table, you could pick it up and move it around like it was a real thing.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I think that, like, with the HTC Vive, I think what's the good thing about it is with you've obviously got the handsets, which I think Oculus Rift has now, doesn't it? The two handsets, sure. I think it does.
Yeah, so with the HTC Vive, and I know the PlayStation VR, you can get handsets for those, so you can pick things up.
Is that out now? The PlayStation
PlayStation stuff is. I think it's the cheapest on the market as well. I'm not sure.
I got some free VRs off Amazon.
What?
I got some free 3D goggle VR things off Amazon. I got off that website. Sent them to me for free, and they were shocking. Right. But the good thing about the HTC Vive is I've seen loads of stuff developing, but I think when you plug in the audio, your 3D headphones that Ollie's got, you plug those back into the back of the...
Oh, yeah.
And that even increases the experience even more.
Yeah, so you not only do you see things around you,
hear things moving around you. And honestly, it's scary on zombie games.
There's like zombie games, yeah.
But I've seen some of the stuff. I've been reading some blogs about... have you seen this new glove?
The tactile glove?
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, so do you want to describe the tactile glove?
Well, from what I've read is you can when you obviously pick up, when you're using the HTC Vive, you have handsets, and those handsets turn into, like, if you're playing a boxing game, they would turn into gloves, or if you're playing a shooting game, they would turn into guns. And they're both in your hands, and you can use them to pick stuff up, so you can hold in a trigger on the handset. But with this glove, from what I've read, the glove molds to different things when you pick it up, so the glove tightens in your hand.
So
that is
each finger will restrict. So if you want to pick up a can, the software will recognize the dimensions of that can, and it won't let the glove go any smaller than the size of the can. So
I'm guessing you'll be able to force it shut, but
yes,
it'll give you a little.
Well, yeah, you'll be able to force it shut, but also say that you want to crush that can. It might actually have resistance information as well, you can actually feel you crushing the can in your hand, and you could throw that away, and your hand would be free again. It's just
what type of world do we live in? It's absolutely insane.
It's like, I remember playing. Well, I play some games like that bow and arrow game. So there's a bow and arrow game.
I'll be honest though, that bow and arrow game, what is it actually called? It's
I
basically
want to say it's called
like
longbow or something. Well, I'm not sure.
But I really think that is because that wasn't like it's still not in full development, that game, is it? It's still like a beta.
It's like a sort of trial game.
But even for that as a first VR model for the Vive, honestly, that is so good.
So this longbow game,
and it's just so much fun. It's like having the Nintendo Wii again. Can you remember when the Wii came out and you could play tennis and all that?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the Vive is expensive. The Vive comes at what, £900?
It's around that.
Yeah, £950, and you do need quite a high spec graphics card and PC to play it on.
The PC costs more.
Yeah.
You need at least a $2,000 PC.
I mean, your PC and Ollie's is pretty high tech, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I find it just incredible.
Yeah.
And 100%, it's definitely 100% something for me because I'm into tech. Would 100% be something I would invest in personally.
Well, even for web development, I mean it's definitely an area.
I can see that coming.
Yeah, it's an area. The people are going to be sat in their room with the headsets on, forgetting about real life because the one online is so much better.
Well, I've already seen the AWWW awards, the website that basically they do site of the day and all that type of stuff. There's like a lot of their sites that they have on there that win awards are sort of like interactive websites, but their awards website was actually built for 3D glasses. They built it. I believe it must be something like Canvas or HTML Canvas or something like that they use in JavaScript or something like that. But I think the web is going that way. We've got all this 3D stuff now. I heard in the news recently that Orange Bus in Newcastle have just hired some top VR guy. So that's where they're heading. Hedgehog Lab, maybe. I think they might be heading that way as well.
Yeah, it's definitely an area to look out. I mean, all these things are fairly new to the retail world as well. I mean, a lot of them have been under development. They've been like developer only, sort of paying thousands of pounds to access them. And they haven't really been user friendly, but now it's coming to the sort of mainstream market. There's a lot more money being invested in because the mainstream market can afford them now.
I'm interested in the isn't the F8 conference coming up soon? The Facebook conference.
What's the F8 conference?
Facebook developers. I think it's like Facebook, all the Facebook development stuff. But
Facebook own Oculus, don't they?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what that. It popped up on my Facebook feed the other day to register for it. But I'm sure it's like end of this week.
I'm sure I've seen something about Facebook, and you're able to chat with people with other Oculuses.
Really?
In a room. I'm pretty sure
I've seen. Wouldn't surprise me that would integrate something like that into their own system.
I'm sure I've seen that system. So you can start like a party where you put on your headset, and I don't know how it would work with the whole face thing, but it'll pick up your hand movements and stuff because you've got controllers, obviously. And say there's 3 or 4 people with the same setup, they can wear. They're quite American. Setup. Same setup. They can also put on their gear, and you can have a conversation. And you can pull faces and do actions and stuff, and everyone in the room will be able to see that. So it's like you're having a meeting.
Jesus.
That's
next level meeting shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean, we do meetings now over Skype and stuff. I mean, being a web developer and all that, you can literally work from anywhere in the world as long as you've got your development in place and you can get an internet connection.
I mean, the level of interaction will never be the same that way, but through VR.
Oh, through VR, Oh, I know what you mean. So
so on
Skype, through Skype,
it's hard to see body language and people.
Obviously, unless you're on the video.
Yeah.
But the VR thing, it could be a point where you literally stood next to each other in a room. It would feel like that.
It's like Star Wars all over again. Set it up, Palpatine.
Honestly, it's the text. It's just. We haven't really got to that yet, though. With VR, we haven't got the interaction VR where we interact with other people through VR. We haven't got to that point yet. It's just sort of standalone yourself in a virtual reality world.
I'm sure there's a few games out there where you can play with other people with VR. So that I'm pretty sure there's a shooting game where.
Did Call of Duty develop something? I thought I saw that.
I'm not sure.
Some form of small version. I think.
But I think the real interaction will come into play when you have things like tactile gloves. So you can physically shake someone's hand.
Maybe physically punch someone. Donald Trump or something.
Oh, steady on.
He's not that bad of a guy, is he?
I don't know. Either
a...
way, that with Donald Trump, it's like,
yeah,
don't talk about him.
yeah, you get some shit off people.
Yeah,
but no, it's going to be VR is just where it's at. I think.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that the future of that next 10 years, I can't even begin to imagine what it's going to be like in terms of technology. What we have now.
But there's all this stuff, but then there's stuff that we haven't even thought of yet. That you have huge corporations with big brains powering ideas.
I look at Boston Dynamics. Boston Dynamics, who
I'm not sure.
Is it Google or Warner Move? They've made those walking robots when you push them over the.
Oh yeah.
It's Boston Dynamics, isn't it?
Perhaps.
I think it's Boston.
Did they create like a dog thing?
Yeah, and then you can walk up to it and sort of kick it over, and it'll basically recognise and try and stand back up.
Seriously. Be scared for your jobs, guys, because
the robots are coming.
Well, as soon as the robots are in and VR is on, it will be like, have you seen WALL-E?
Yeah.
We're all floating around in those chairs, all really obese because of sugar addiction.
But Elon Musk has just basically come out and said that get ready for those type of people. They're taking over jobs left, right, and centre.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was in a meeting last week with this construction work that we're doing, the projects, and I mean, I've seen them on Facebook. These robots, you stand them in a front garden, and they can basically just do the pavements, create the pavements just from a robot.
Right.
The pre-programmed.
The bricklaying,
pre-programmed to just. Honestly, it's absolutely crazy, and look how many. Yeah, they could literally wipe out. I mean, look how food is made these days. Cars, Nissan.
I tell you what, I think. I mean,
you only need a few people.
This is my personal opinion. I think robots will take over a lot of jobs, but the jobs that they won't take over are where there's emotional engagement, which is sort of where my whole
funerals.
Yes, robot carrying dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
that was another discussion I got into the other day. I won't go into it now.
Okay. Like robots. I was thinking about this the other day in retail, and I was like, okay, robots could quite easily do a retail job. They could stock shelves, they could greet customers, they could provide customer
robots
service.
Could greet customers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they could do all these things, but then actually you're missing a whole bunch of value there. You're losing that until AI is so sophisticated they just essentially are.
Have you seen Ex Machina?
Yes, oh my god, that's a
crazy
whole. But until they're at that sort of level, humans will always have a huge role to play.
Because at that level on Ex Machina, those robots can show emotion.
That the main character can't tell the difference between a human and a robot.
They know though that she is a robot.
Yes, they know she's a robot. But all she has to do is escape that complex, and no one else will realize.
Yeah, exactly.
She will be the most intelligent. Sorry, that was a huge spoiler if anyone's not seen that. Spoiler alert. Actually, no, we didn't give much away. It's worth. It gets loads of bad reviews, especially on Netflix.
Did it?
I think it's got 3-star reviews on Netflix.
What? I love that movie.
I really enjoy that film. Not for its acting and stuff. Yeah, the acting could probably be a bit better.
The whole concept.
But the idea of it, the behind, because it's not that far away. Think about like Google. They could be creating this person already. We don't even know.
They might be walking among us.
Exactly.
What do we know?
Conspiracy theories.
It's crazy to think that, but it's possible.
Oh yeah.
Like fucking aliens could be walking.
And here we are chatting about VR. VR's the past.
Yeah. It will be. It might well be in 10 years.
Oh.
We might have gone through that and gone at different ideas.
We could be robots.
Our vehicles are now turning into full-on robots. The drivers around, we don't even have to touch a steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I think that would be really good when all cars are robots. But then I say yes, but at the same time, driving will always be a sport and people will always enjoy that culturally.
Who was it? Who was on? Oh, it was that Abstract. You know, that Abstract documentary on Netflix.
I've not watched it.
Yeah, the one I've been talking about though. There's a engineer on there who designs cars,
right?
And he loves his cars, and that's one of the things he said is cars have always been known like someone who like me who's really into Formula One, and it's the experience from watching a race is all about the sound and the smells that you get from cars.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to change in years. If you got, I can't imagine. I mean, I love watching it on TV, but I can't imagine what it must be like to be a live race on Formula E. That fully electric. It's basically Formula One, but electric cars. Now F1 has gone to hybrid cars, so the engine noises of honestly the you can hear the turbos and everything, but the engine noise is just honestly it's gone. GP2 cars, the smaller series, the more amateur series to Formula One. People go through GP2 to get to Formula One. The engine noises of those are so much better than the Formula One cars now, and it's a real shame because F1 is the top level of driving, but the engine, it's not the top level experience in my opinion. And I hope they do something about that with the takeover from obviously Bernie Ecclestone has now left.
Yeah.
In this Liberty Media, and I hope they really do something with the sound.
I remember hearing something somewhere. I say this a lot about just normal electric cars on normal roads, and because they're so quiet, it's actually becoming a hazard. So they were thinking about installing sort of sound systems for the external of the car that might sound like a car, or
at least that you can hear it.
Yeah.
Because I was walking over past where Toffee Factory is, that road that cuts through there where the gym is now. I was walking up there and a Toyota Prius came past me. I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, it's scary.
I shit myself out because I was walking off the path and he sort of just came out alongside me. Like, oh shit. I did that.
It's like those devil cyclists that we all love but hate.
Yeah, well, I saw another one of them this morning. Just totally ignored red lights, but never mind. But yeah, it is pretty scary that because you can't hear them, and I love the sound of cars. It's what we've grown up with right through history, I think. Other than even with horse and cart, you have the clip clops of
there's the whole sound of
That's what a car is.
Sound
the
of
sound
movement, isn't it? It's
what people love about them. People who I know,
unless you may
friends.
Cars are just a waste of time. Okay. I only say that to wind up Glen.
Why would you prefer a car that didn't make any noise than a car that makes a nice noise?
I would like a car that you know is there, but it's not interfering with life. Like a nice hum, like a like a quite
tick over noise, like a car tick over noise.
Yeah. So if it was ticking over, but that was its normal noise,
like a small rumbling noise.
Yeah. So you knew it was there, but if you lived on next to a highway, it wouldn't wake you up at night.
There's some over-the-top exhaust systems you can get now for cars that just make way too much noise.
I hear them most nights.
I was out the front of ours on the quayside. A nightmare. That's why they all go on a Friday and a Saturday.
Yeah.
Just noise and shit, and they're doing burnouts and all that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to lose that. I mean, I want to go electric on my next car. I love my car that I've currently got, but the next thing is electric. But the whole sound of a car is. Yeah. Imagine going on a 20 years in the future, and the motorways will be silent.
It'd be great. So you hate that, but I'd love that.
I wouldn't.
I don't know if that's our age.
It's going to be great for the environment, obviously, but I just still do like the noise.
See, I think my first car that I ever buy, if I ever buy a car, would be electric. Because I can drive, obviously, but I've never had the need for a car. I've always either lived in the city centre, or I've taken public transport, or cycled, or walked. But if I ever got a car, I think I would look at electric cars first. Not only for an environmental sake, through noise and pollution, but more for an economical sake as well. I mean, if I have a house with solar panels on the roof, I can run say I had a Tesla, I can run that car completely free. The only thing I'd have to pay for is
and after the 1st of April though, new tax ban comes in.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. The only thing I'd have to pay for is tax.
I know what you mean, the electric and the thing is though, we're moving away from fueled cars, petrol, diesel, all that type of stuff. But I'm telling you, people can park up and get electric for free now. You can park up in a bit. That won't last long.
No, it won't last long.
We will have to start paying for electric when we're parking up because when everyone moves to it, someone needs to pay for that.
But how would that work? Would it be on like a pay and display sort of?
It'd be exactly like your, it'd be like a filling station.
You think?
Or an electric meter at home. If you put £5 in, it gives you this amount of charge.
Because I guess every car would charge at a different rate.
Exactly, the batteries are all different.
Every battery would be a different size. So you couldn't necessarily say, let's charge £3 an hour for a parking space. Because if you have a car that has a huge battery and it charges dead quick, that £3 would be loads more economical than someone who has.
We've also got different power chargers, because I know these what are the Tesla superchargers?
Oh yeah. The ones that charge a car in like 20 minutes.
Is that how fast is it from
fast
flat to full?
It's very fast.
It
doesn't do full on the super fast charge, I'm sure. Probably for safety. I'm pretty sure it doesn't go to full, but it's pretty fast. It's less than an hour.
I'll have to get Chris from Cyber Horsepower. Obviously, he's got the Tesla. He's got the Model S, and he had the previous Tesla as well, the older Model S, where he's just upgraded. I've never. Have you been in a Tesla before, Model S?
I've been in one in the showroom.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been in one in the showroom.
I've been in one in the showroom. I'd love to know more about Tesla. Obviously, I read a lot about them, but in terms of charging them,
it's a computer with wheels. That's what it is.
I guess the best is a software company rather than a car company, really, aren't they? Because you can just deploy software to them, upgrades.
That's it. I mean,
they've got like 4G connections.
Musk's
and all that stuff.
Recently sent out an update, hasn't he, where it improves the...
I find that scary as shit.
Improves the 0 to 60
it's
so much.
It's insane.
And it's only electric. It's like nothing mechanical has changed on the cars. It's only this electrical system.
Configuration, software configuration.
It's scary. It's like...
How scary is it? Someone is sat in front of a computer and they're pressing go on a button and the software is deployed to all of the Teslas.
That's the other thing, which... I mean, I don't know whose responsibility it is, but safety...
It's not fucking mine if it crashes a car or something.
Yeah, can you imagine, like, sending out that update and actually what it does is after 50 miles, the wheels pop off?
I'd love to see... I'd actually love to see their testing process in terms of software. Yeah. Because when we deploy website software, we build software locally, we launch it. It's not really life-threatening to anybody launching a site up on the internet. Is like a website.
Unless you're Snowden.
Unless you're Snowden. I'm building some form of virus or something like that. But deploying software to a car that could potentially cause a fatal accident. Yeah, there's only that one bug needs to go wrong, something needs to go wrong in the software, and it could kill the car on the motorway and cause a crash. It could. And this is the problem with everything going software-based. Everything has an IP address. Everything can be accessed and hacked. That's
the Internet of Things.
I'd love to know about the security behind Tesla's software and getting through hackers targeting Teslas, for example. It runs on an operating system. I don't even know what operating system it runs off. What does it even run off? Tesla? Is it its own operating system?
TOS.
What's that?
Tesla operating system. Oh, right. No, I made that up.
It could be.
It could be TOS.
I need to get Chris on. We will get Chris Danks on. And Chris, if you listen to the podcast, we need you on in a couple of weeks. Speak about Tesla. I know you're really interested in it. So
we get Ollie on at the same time because he's wanting to
get... he reads a lot about them.
So my brother's wanting... Well, he's put a deposit down on the new model.
Model 3, isn't it?
Yes. Which is due to come out, like, I don't know.
I think the first releases.
That
is an interesting, lovely shaped car as well.
Yeah, but we'll let them talk about Tesla and all that goodies.
Yeah. I think actually, it's getting late. We're going to wrap up 11:45.
Oh my!
And we're gonna. It's going to be good. We just obviously we've launched this first one just as for testing purposes. Really, we want to see what it was like before we start getting people on. I'm looking at the screen now. It looks like it's recorded fine. This conversation just could have not happened, but. It looks like it's recorded fine. And we'll hopefully get it uploaded and get you guys start talking about it, and want to start getting people on the show speaking about really interesting stuff. I think me and Ed have just spoke about a ton of stuff there. We've jumped a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Gone from VR to cars to all that type of stuff, and we'd love for people to come on and speak. Who specialise in these areas?
Yeah, we only dabble on these areas.
We do. and that's why we dabble around the areas, but we really want to learn about them more.
Oh yeah.
We dabble around VR. We know we've used it and all that stuff, but we'd like to hear from someone who develops for VR and all that type of stuff and knows much more about it.
The jack of a lot of things, but we know there's kings out there.
Exactly. There is. I think we and we just need to find those people and get them on.
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
Yeah, cool stuff.
We're gonna so thanks for listening. If you've obviously listened from start to finish, and we hopefully by the end of the week, or hopefully by the end of next week for sure, we're gonna have this online. We're gonna have it up on YouTube. We'll start recording with videos.
That's if we think of a name, of course.
Yeah, we still need to get the name, but thanks for listening, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next ones that we do. We're hopefully we're going to get some more people on, and I think that's us. Anything else said? Or
No, that's it. Thanks, Glen, and thanks for listening.
All right, thanks very much.
Cheers.